Do you have any problem with the lady on the left there?
Do I have a problem with her? No, I don't have a problem with her.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem
You're
with the
not
woman
offended
on the
by
right.
that image?
I'm not.
Fascinating.
No.
You do have a problem with the woman on the right.
No. Hold on. Two things. One, you specifically said let's not interrupt each other, and I haven't been able to articulate one sentence yet, and I've been interrupted twice. So let's follow your own rules.
No,
I'm not offended by the woman on the left. Let me complete the sentence. I am not offended by the woman on the left, nor am I offended by the woman on the right. The aha that you're going for isn't there, because I'm saying I am not offended by either woman. What I am, please, I'm asking you respectfully, allow me to finish a thought. Two people have spoken uninterrupted for 3 minutes. I haven't gotten 10 seconds out.
In today's video, Marc Lamont Hill absolutely destroys Piers Morgan in a heated debate on the Piers Morgan Show. Marc Lamont Hill came in sharp, calmly dismantling Piers Morgan's MAGA-coded outrage over the backlash to the ad, while Piers Morgan tried to frame the criticism as anti-American and some kind of woke overreach. Marc Lamont Hill brought it back to reality, explaining how imagery like that can be loaded with racial and historical context, even if it's not intentionally offensive. So let's dive in and watch how Marc Lamont Hill shuts down Piers Morgan in this heated debate.
What I'm saying is that the problem is not either woman. The problem is how we're narrating the commercial. That's what people are concerned about. Several things have been said that I'd like to respond to in direct response to what you're asking me, Piers. The first thing, and I'm glad the last woman who spoke mentioned that she's Jewish, because I think that's really important. Historically, there have been lots of anti-Semitic images, narratives, tropes that are used that non-Jews don't see. And many times someone will say, oh, wait a minute, they showed that person playing into the cabal narrative. They showed this person as a rodent, or they showed this person with changing their name to this or that. And the average person may not intend to be anti-Semitic, although some people are anti-Semitic, but it's still there and Jews recognize it. So I don't want to presume that because a white person doesn't see it, that means that it can't be racist, or if a black person doesn't see, you know what I'm saying? We have to think about this on all levels from multiple audiences. You used the word normal and talked about it in the context of this white woman. White women are normal, but so are other people. The problem is, historically, we have only normalized white people. And so we've made white women's bodies, white male bodies, the norm. And we've made everything else less human, less beautiful, less real. And so when we say good genes are the ones that—
What a load of crap. Honestly, I'm sorry, Mark. If I may jump in on my own show, what a load of crap. I saw Beyonce do a jeans ad. Everybody drooled over it. I loved it. Thought she looked hot when she did. Right? I mean, what are you talking about, man? This is... Let me ask you a straight question. Let me ask you a straight question. Does Sydney Sweeney have bad genes? Yes or no?
No. I don't think she has bad genes.
Does she have good genes? Does she have good genes?
No. Again, you're trying for these gotchas. If you
so she doesn't have good or bad genes?
The whole point is to argue that good and bad genes itself is a bad idea. It's a racist idea.
Why can't you have good genes, Mark?
Why is it racist?
Why can't you have good genes? All right, I'm going to respond, and I'm going to hope that you don't interrupt me as I answer, okay? Because again, no one else has been interrupted except the people who disagree with you. What I'm saying is,
stop being so precious, please.
The word you listen. The word eugenics literally means good genes. It literally means that etymologically. The point here is to judge human beings based on their genes, and to decide that you have good genes and you have bad genes isn't in and of itself a racist project. That's the point. So no, it's not that I think that I have good genes and you can't say anyone else has good genes. I'm saying let's get rid of the good genes narrative, particularly when it's based on hair and eyes and body type. Why? Because those things are racially coded. In other words, if I say that straight hair is good genes or blonde hair is good genes, and no, I'm not after watching an ad Googling someone to figure out their natural roots. You'd be shocked to know how many people don't do that. If I'm doing these things and I see your eye color and your hair as a sign of your good genes, then that means someone who has a different hair or eye color doesn't have good genes. And the last thing I'll say is, if you look historically at ads, at culture,
it doesn't though, does it? Calm down. Calm down. It doesn't actually mean that.
No.
Hang on. No, I will speak on my own show. So just calm down.
I'm asking you not to be condescending.
Stop being so precious. My instruction about shouting was between the four of you, not me. It's my show. I do what I like.
Now, Marc Lamont Hill, as usual, brought thoughtfulness and historical context to the table, breaking down why terms like good genes aren't as innocent as they sound, especially when tied to a long, ugly history of eugenics and racial beauty standards. It wasn't about hating Sydney Sweeney or denying anyone's attractiveness, it was about what's been coded into that kind of language over the time. Piers Morgan, meanwhile, kept doing what he always does, straw manning, interrupting, and shouting over thoughtful points with empty one-liners. He refused to engage with the deeper argument that media and marketing have long upheld white beauty ideals as the default and excluded others from being seen as normal or desirable. And here's the real kicker. Data backs Mark's broader point. A 2022 Pew Research study found that Black and Brown Americans are still underrepresented in media portrayals, and when they are included, it's often through reductive or stereotypical lenses. On top of that, terms like good genes have a history of being weaponized in everything from Nazi propaganda to early 20th century American eugenics policies that targeted immigrants and people of color. So yeah, it's not just an ad, it's a conversation about the power of language, history, and who gets to define what's normal or ideal in American culture. And once again, Marc Lamont Hill brought receipts, while Piers Morgan just brought ego.
Yes, I don't care if it's your show,
point is this.
If you interrupt me in the first minute, it's bad form. I'm saying that if you let the guest who agreed with you talk for 3 minutes, then don't allow me to talk for more than 1 second. You literally didn't let me finish the first sentence.
You have literally done more talking than all 3 other guests put together, multiple
that is not
by
true.
2 or 3. So
that's not true, but my issue with you interrupting was not at this point, it was at the first 10 seconds. My point was just to interrupt me in the first 10 seconds.
So Can you calm down?
Is irrelevant. No,
Can you calm down?
I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm talking over you.
Right.
Can I jump in here,
have
Piers?
blue eyes. Right. I also have good genes, particularly on my mother's side, because my skin is surprisingly good for a person of my age, because my mother's side all had good skin. You got a problem with that? Mark?
Is that for me?
You got a problem with that? Yes. If I say I've got good genes from my mother because I have good skin and I've got blue eyes, so what?
So what color eyes are what color eyes are bad genes? If someone has bad genes, what would their hair or skin look like?
I don't think any are bad. I didn't see anybody from American Eagle saying that anybody else is.
No one said anything.
No one from just to be clear. Hang on. Nobody from American Eagle was making any comparison. Nobody said somebody else's eye color or skin color was wrong or bad or anything negative. All they said, in an amusing pun, is that Sydney Sweeney has good genes and is wearing great jeans. That's it. There was no negative about anybody else.
And here's why I disagree with that. Because if I were to stand on here and say, oh, she's from a good background, she's Gentile, then we would all say, well, wait a minute. I didn't compare to anybody else. No, by saying that Gentile is the good background, I would be implicitly saying that the others are not. If I say I have a good body, I'm skinny, then I'm saying the other bodies are not good. It's an implicit comparison, but it's not out of context. Historically, in this country and in the West, we've always said that white bodies are more beautiful. So it's not like we're coming out of nowhere here. This is not a Zeus's head. We're starting from a place where we've already presumed white superiority.
Mark, we have spent the last 10 years.
All right, Jedediah.
The last 10 years, if you look at all of the marketing campaigns, we have done how many segments on television about the elevation of obesity? You see people who are massive. Now we're saying it's a good thing, right? It's great. Let's celebrate everyone who's unhealthy and obese. If this ad was an African-American, if this ad was a Hispanic girl, no one would be saying a peep. Frankly, I think if this ad was a white girl like me with brown hair, brown eyes, I got a little Spanish in me, I got a little Italian in me, I'm Sicilian, I got some African in me, I don't think anyone would be saying anything either. This is utterly ridiculous. The only people who are offended by this ad are people who choose to be offended by everything. Either you choose to see racism in everything, or you choose to see sexism or misogyny. I noticed that a whole lot of women online were mad about this ad because they were jealous. It was so obvious. Now they're saying that this woman is against the body positivity campaign because she's skinny. So let's just say the truth. Sydney Sweeney is a sex symbol. She is a young, hot woman. She is objectively attractive. That is all this ad was about.
Let's get real. When brands like American Eagle uses a tagline like good genes while showcasing a white woman with traditionally Eurocentric features, blonde hair, blue eyes, slim body, they're not making a neutral pun. They're reinforcing a long-standing beauty standard that has historically excluded and marginalized women of color, different body types, and non-Western features. Piers Morgan keeps pretending this is about wokeness or hypersensitivity, but that's not the point. The point is that when companies praise good genes, especially without acknowledging the deeper implications of that language, they're tapping into a history of eugenics, racialized beauty ideals, and exclusion. This isn't hypothetical. The term good genes has literally ties to scientific racism and selective breeding ideologies that were used to justify discrimination and sterilization well into the 20th century. And as far for Piers Morgan's claim that no one would complain if the model were black or Hispanic, that's just false. Ads featuring women of color often spark different kinds of backlash, accusing of pandering, wokeness, or worse. The issue isn't about jealousy or being offended by everything. It's about how language and imagery carry meaning, especially in a country still grappling with race, identity, and representation. Marc Lamont Hill is right to challenge this because ignoring history and context is exactly how harmful narratives keep getting recycled in new packaging.
Now, why has the stock skyrocketed for this company? The reason this ad has done so well is, yes, because it creates controversy and we all talk about it and we debate, and American Eagle is very smart and they knew that, but also because there is a growing segment of the population just like me that is saying that is so tired of walking on eggshells to cater to people like Mark's sensitivities. Frankly, I don't care if you're offended. You can put an ad out and offend this person over here or that person over there. Everyone is always going to get offended by something. Who cares? Here's the bottom line. Stop getting so offended. If you see everything through the lens of race, that's your problem. That's not Sydney Sweeney's problem. That's not American Eagle's problem. If you see everything through the lens of misogyny, it's the same conversation over and over again.
Yeah, you know what? Hang on, don't all talk at once. Don't all talk at once. No, I'm going to come to Anastasia. Anastasia, here's the problem. The Democrats have just polled at record lows, right? They are incredibly unpopular. And I can tell you one of the reasons why. It's things like this. The reason Donald Trump got reelected is partly the economy, partly immigration, but also partly the culture wars, which the liberal left, the woke left, tried so dementedly to fuel and fire for so many years, behaving like a bunch of insane fascists. And it comes down to stuff like this, where most people watch this ad and see it for what it is, a harmless ad with a hot actress selling jeans. But in the prism of the woke left, which I assume you would identify as, but correct me if I'm wrong, you look at it and see it as an obvious example of Nazism, eugenics, white supremacy, and you hate it and despise it, and anyone who likes it must be cancelled. And that's the problem with the woke left. That's why nobody wants to vote for anyone who identifies with the woke left. That's why Trump won. And no one on the left, in the woke left, seems to understand that it's exactly this kind of thing that is the reason that nobody wants to vote for you.
Now let's be clear. Sydney Sweeney isn't being criticized for existing or for being attractive. The concern is with how her image was framed by American Eagle using the phrase good genes, a phrase historically rooted in eugenics, which literally means well born and was used to justify some of the ugliest chapters of American history, from forced sterilization to immigration restrictions based on race. That history doesn't just disappear because a marketing team wants to make a pun about denim, and no, pointing that out isn't fascist or anti-speech. It's called accountability. As for Pierce's claim that Trump's popularity stems from culture war nonsense like this, that's just a lazy talking point. In reality, when voters are asked what actually matters to them, it's the economy, healthcare, education, and reproductive rights that dominates. According to Pew and Gallup polling in 2024, culture war issues rank low on the list of priorities for most Americans. And let's not ignore the fact that a majority of young voters and suburban women, key demographics, actually do care about representation, inclusion, and the normalization of diverse identities in media. Bottom line, this ad sparked conversation not because people are too sensitive, but because the language and imagery we use still carry social power. That power should be examined, especially when it reinforces narrow definitions of beauty and worth.
Pause. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, left, right, and center are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights into media bias and political trends. Stay informed, think for yourself, and check out Ground News in the description down below.